Well, unfortunately, or fortunately, depending on your position, this podcast will not be changing due to the strike at the WGA.
Yeah.
So our writers are scabs, and they have crossed the picket line and are going to continue writing for our show.
We actually, our whole writer's room was about to like bounce, and they were like, we're going to leave. And then we were like, we know where you live. We just started saying their IP addresses. And so they're pretty into the idea of keeping on writing.
So,
and by writers, we mean like one guy who's like he's pretty good at using like Chat GPT.
Oh no, we're saying like we've got a whole room of like professional writers.
We got a team.
We're paying them like it's like $1 million writers room where they're all sitting in there and just like spitballing.
Where's the money coming from? That's what I don't know. We just get the money and they say make a podcast.
Yeah.
Go, all right.
Yeah, we get a Venmo each.
We don't know
week.
who it's from.
We're a George Soros-funded podcast.
This will really get the kids transferred over to the
and
left.
Peter Thiel.
Yeah, that's
both of them.
We're playing both sides.
Both of those gay men.
But I'm a double agent.
Oh.
I'm a Donald Trump spy.
Oh, you're a MAGA spy.
I'm a MAGA spy.
This is really
well. Now I'm just confused.
Our podcast is really the nexus for both the left and the right. It's kind of we are the public square of podcasts, and we are just voicing the opinions of the people. The writers they did have a really funny idea. Let me see if I can find it.
First let's welcome to the Brown Bricks podcast, the most marketplace ideas of podcasts of all podcasts.
I'm Jackson.
I'm Jack.
I'm Phineas. Are we doing that now?
Yeah, let's do that.
Yeah,
Okay.
that's a good idea. I
100 episodes in, start doing intros.
Yeah.
Why not? You know, I think that was suggested to us on episode 2.
Yeah, pretty much.
And then we did it on episode.
I've been listening to other podcasts.
I think it was suggested by
actually
Jackson's
a really
mom,
good.
right?
Well, it was like Jackson's mom
was.
was like, "You guys should do intros," and then we did them once, and we were like, "We're good.
We're
we
like,
never
they
have
got
to
it
do that
now.
again."
They could just go back to that episode.
The episode with terrible audio, or all just sitting around on a couch, like huddled next to a mic. That was
Yeah, I've been listening
Look
to
how
other
far we've
podcasts.
come. Now we're all sitting on a couch, huddled over our own mic.
Wow.
yeah, it's a lot
That
more.
sound a lot better.
Improvement. But yeah, other podcasts do like shit like that, and I'm like, wow, this is actually really nice to have like some structure.
Oh yeah, no, well, that's my whole thing with like structures and stuff. I'm just like, that would be cool if we could have a bit, but every bit that I think about, I'm like, nah. Wouldn't it be funnier if we just And then the one joke that it was like, what if Elmo raped a kid? What do you guys think about that?
Whoa, what's the?
Why did he do it? What was his motivation?
Why did he do it?
They didn't get that far yet. They were about to strike. They got that far, and then they were like, we heard about the writer's strike, and so we had that whole conversation.
I thought you guys said they
Was
weren't
this
striking.
an AI generated?
Do we have a grasp on what's going on with our writers? Jackson says they're not striking. Jack says they are.
It's complicated. We're trying to make them scab, but I mean, you know, there's like a lot of
They're
career.
picketing our house right now.
Yeah, you can see Adam from Adam Hates Everything. Actuallying us outside.
What?
That's like the main guy for the writers.
Yeah,
Oh,
he's
is
cool.
it?
I like that guy.
I didn't know that.
I think I find him really annoying. Like
Jack, he's you. That's you. You're that guy.
I'm that
I'm
guy?
not upset by him.
I like that guy.
I think
but I feel like you
I'm
guys
not upset
are
by
like
him.
very.
I think he's a cool guy, but that
Oh, no.
that Adam ruins everything show. Like
I haven't
I'm
actually
very
seen the
whatever
show.
about it.
I think my big thing is that seeing him on anything, he does this thing where he'll like he's like smug as shit at all times in his life, but not in a way that's like funny. He's smug in a way where he's like, it feels like he's like smart. He thinks he's smarter than everyone that he talks to, and it's
I don't know,
annoying
I feel
to
like
see.
they're kind of self-aware about that, though. It's just not my thing.
I mean, that's
Yeah.
that's the TV show. I
Yeah.
imagine.
But all of his like
and it's-
podcast things, he'll always like bring stuff up, and then I'll just be like, he'll be like, "You didn't know that," and
I don't know.
Well, Jack, I'm really proud
Jack obviously knows a lot
to
more
see
about
you
this guy than I do.
disliking a podcast that isn't white
That's
women.
not.
I'm glad.
He's a skip and a hop away from women podcasters, really.
Yeah, well, you know, it's a step.
So are we all.
Yeah, sorry. That is, we are just a woman podcast.
Yeah,
where we talk
we're
about.
like what, 7 degrees?
Yeah,
Probably.
7 degrees from Kevin Bacon.
that is. Oh, there's something
Layer
that
editor.
I have like this horrible fear right now going on in my head. So like the Impossible to Say podcast, I'm going to Italy in a couple of weeks with the family, and the Impossible to Say podcast mentioned like an Italy trip with like the same like company that she's going on in a couple of weeks. And I'm like, if she's in my Italy group, I am going to like, I am going to like, because it's just like, it's like, what do I like mention that if she shows up and she's like, or if she's in that Italy group, because there's like 3 things in this company that it's like, oh, they go out to Italy like at these 3 times, and she mentioned the same company at the same time that I'm going, and I'm like, am I gonna meet Impossible to Say Kat Wellington?
And you're gonna get really parasocial.
Well, it's like, what do you even do at that point? I'm like,
you act like a normal person. And
Jack's gonna.
You don't know her. You don't know her.
Jack's gonna see her doing shit. He's gonna be like, "Oh, look at how she's doing that." He's just
but like,
gonna get mad over small little shit she's doing.
You know my opinion on
women.
On women.
Settle down.
No, but
why don't you enjoy your trip in Italy with your family?
Wait, is this gonna make your trip worse?
No, it's not gonna like make it worse. It's just gonna be. I feel like, is that not like, if you've been like, not like shit talking?
You don't have to like be around the other people in your like travel group, do you?
I think in a couple of times we do.
Yeah,
bro.
Should I try to ingratiate myself to her?
No, just why don't you have fun with your family? This is a non-issue.
I don't know.
You don't need to freak out because you're like, oh God, that woman who doesn't know who I am, I harass on the internet is. Oh, what am I gonna do?
Should I even say I like the podcast if I say?
No, you should not mention anything. That'd be insane. That you would get kicked off your trip if you said anything.
Check
to her
out
about
my podcast.
No.
She's like a social media influencer.
Imagine you bring up podcasts and somehow that leads to her being like, "Oh my God, you left that horrible comment." Like, imagine it leads to that in any way.
That's not her. That's
different.
Okay. Oh, okay.
I've got several irons.
So wait, what's this podcast? Is just a podcast you watch?
This is a podcast I listen to and subscribe to on Patreon. But I have similar feelings about them and Sydney and the Siege. They're just a little bit cooler.
You subscribe to them on Patreon?
Yeah, because they did like a Met Gala thing that I wanted to see. Where they went over all the Met Gala things.
Huh? Okay.
I
don't understand if you like these podcasts.
I like
you hate
them.
These podcasts. I don't understand.
I like them.
I don't understand what you're doing. I don't understand what you're getting out of it. You're stressing yourself out about this trip because a podcaster's going to be there. That
the podcast woman is on there.
You hate listen to.
I don't hate this podcast.
Okay.
That's the thing. I like this podcast, but I think it's weird that a podcaster is going to be on the trip and I know of their pod. Is that not weird? Is that not?
No. I mean, it's kind of interesting that a podcast you're like, yeah, I'm on that.
Yeah.
I thought this was one of those podcasts that you hate.
Oh yeah,
that you
this
get
is
shot in
Page.
front of it.
That'd be.
And I thought you were saying like, should I talk about her podcast that I hate? I was like, no. I mean, if you like the podcast, you could be like, hey, I've seen it. I'm a fan.
Okay, that's good to know.
Well, how popular is this one?
This one's like relatively popular. I think they've got like 100 patrons at like $5, and like they get like a couple thousand downloads per episode. What?
Damn.
I know.
That's
I wish
big.
we were doing them
That's
numbers.
fucking big.
One
dog.
day. Hey, maybe ask for a plug, actually.
Yeah. Hey. There's
Yeah,
this
you know
really
what? I'm
cool-
reconsidering, Jack. You got to network with
Yeah.
this person.
Yeah, actually, yeah.
Should I get Brown Bricks podcast business cards that I hand out to her?
Just one. You're like, I've only made one.
And your parents
Because
are
I
going to be
made it.
like...
because make her think you got your parents to do this trip so that you can see her.
I just last minute shotgun the trip.
Yeah.
The thing that takes like 6 months of prep, and they're just like, we have a new person who like very last minute
Imply that you found out that she was going on the trip before
From her podcast.
before she mentioned
Oh,
it.
yeah.
That's kind of like that's the thing where it's like the convergence there, where it's like if you are like, hey, I like your podcast, it's like if they mentioned it before, do they think it's you're going on it because you like their podcast?
Not if you say you just like their podcast.
What if you say I really like your podcast?
If you go, I like
Okay,
the
wait.
podcast, and they go, thanks, and then you go, no, I really like your podcast. Then they're going to be a little skeeved out.
Yeah, and you need to like pull out like
She's on a trip alone.
Wait,
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I think she's going with like her family, but she broke up with her fiance though, which is really sad.
Here's your chance.
There you go.
No, I don't.
It's like a little podcaster rom-com going on.
Yeah. A racist podcast and a woman podcast.
Get a racist podcast and a woman podcast.
Can it work?
Can they find
them?
love? Can they find love in the common ground of talking into a mic?
In the deep Alps of
Our
Italy.
experts say yes.
I like talking about women podcasts too. We have so much in common. Oh yeah, that'll be good. You know,
that will be good, Jack. That'll be awesome for you. I'm looking forward to your trip more than you are.
Yeah, no, I will let you guys know how it goes. Let's see. You know what else will be good?
What?
Not Blade.
What's Blade?
The Marvel movie Blade.
What's wrong with that? What's wrong with Blade?
Well, they stopped production on it again because they got picketed. Get fucked, you fucking idiot.
There's a bunch of people. The funniest thing is like seeing people's reaction to the writer strike online, because a lot of it is like, this better not fucking impact Sonic 3. Like, this better not impact like my Marvel movies. And it's like,
it will, and fuck you for even caring like about those.
Well, it's like the idea that something's gonna come out like 6 months later than you were expected it, like ruining your life.
For those people, all I can say is I know what you should do, and I know how you're feeling about it, so follow through.
Well, that's what I was going to say. It's like the people, I assume these people are like Spider-Maning to the next like Marvel project, because it's like that's all they have to hold on to dear life, where it's like as long as I can get to the next...
as my next Marvel movie comes out, I won't blow my brains out.
Yeah, they've got the shotgun on the wall, and they're like, no,
Not
Ant-Man
today.
Quantum Mania comes out in a week. I don't think I will.
No, my favorite villain Kang raped somebody. I can't go. Oh, never mind.
Guys,
there's Guardians of the Galaxy.
Why is
3.
everybody so mad? Kang is supposed to be a bad guy.
That would be, you know how that Kevin Spacey, he made that video that was like him as Frank Underwood after like all of the rape allegations came out?
Right.
He should do that as Kang the Conqueror. He's like, I conquer women. It's what I do. I'm Kang.
I am Kang. I don't know how Kang talks, so...
Yeah, he just talks like a...
Talks like a dude.
He talks like a guy who's like,
Really?
Yeah.
It's fun.
His vibe is like,
I'm Kang.
I'm Kang. You don't think that the world will end if the societies crumble? It's like, what does that mean, Kang? He's like, you'll understand later.
You'll understand when the ants eat me.
He's not a fun guy to be around.
That guy sounds awful.
So there's that got canceled. I know they're continuing with House of the Dragon production without any like fucking showrunner obviously on set, which is going to be a disaster.
The like lack of, because like if everything's written, that's one thing, but it's like if the showrunner has to be there, and it's like no, the director and like the people who are in charge of making sure the show runs are not there. It's like, what's the plan there? Like, why?
They're just gonna shoot with the script they have and hope to God they don't need any rewrites, I guess.
Because you can't. Because then if somebody writes a new thing, if they're like, oh yeah, you misspelled that, it's like you have to say it like that, or else we get fined.
Yeah. What the fuck? Everybody likes to talk about like I guess the writer's strike that happened in 2007, which resulted in like some very awful fucking television. Like apparently Heroes season 2. I've never seen fucking Heroes, but apparently this first season's really good, and then obviously the writer's strike happened, and they made the second season is apparently dog shit. So I'm actually kind of excited to see what kind of dog shit TV comes out of this. I hope they get a good deal, the writers, but you know. If it takes a while, maybe we'll get some.
It's okay if it happens, but I hope the rest of Succession. I think they already shot Succession.
No, Succession's fucking already shot.
Yeah,
don't even worry about that shit.
I think it's like, especially with that,
that's
like,
the only show I care about right now.
I know they're just like stockpiling like reality TV shows and old scripts, so it's something where it's like they have. Like, as scummy as it sounds, they planned for this to happen.
No, they're going to try and starve them out, which is extremely fucked up.
Yeah.
But, I mean, that's kind of how it goes, because corporations are not about to bow to the people that they should be paying.
Yeah. I mean, not much. They shouldn't get paid that much. They're just writers.
Yeah, man. No writer ever did anything.
They wrote. But you know, that's something. But like,
yeah, that's not worthy of money.
You guys should get paid.
My favorite TV shows, they were all written by a fucking 1,000 monkeys on typewriters.
If I had a
Which
choice
ones are
between
those?
Yo Gabba Gabba.
Oh yeah, that does bang.
that is a really good show.
Booba, the British show.
Oh yeah, Booba's good. I wonder if kid shows will be impacted. I wonder if kids are gonna be like, this fucking sucks.
Bro, Paw Patrol's ass now, bro.
Paw Patrol's ass this season.
Paw Patrol fell the fuck off.
This is really...
They got the fucking AD putting in some random notes into the script.
Chase is so out of character this episode.
Yeah.
God damn, dude. That's going to be so awesome. Maybe I'll start watching kids' TV.
It's just to see how awful it is.
Mm-hmm. Well, I mean, again, like I said, no writers ever wrote any of my favorite shows, so...
That's true, yeah. I'm more of like an abstract art kind of show guy.
Mm-hmm.
Where like if every show is just the end of Evangelion, like the last couple of minutes of that'd be awful.
Well, fucking AI could write that shit. Yeah, you're golden.
That AI. That is the funny thing, is that like a big part of the concessions was like, can you please not use AI to do stuff? And they were like, here's the concession that we're willing to make. We will have a meeting every year to talk about developments in AI.
Yeah.
And then they were like,
what?
So we will have a meeting every year to determine how much of your job we're replacing with the computer. And it's like,
yeah, fuck you. Like, just like don't let AI do rewrites. AI cannot write anything. We've known this for a while now.
It wrote a pretty good podcast for us.
It wasn't good.
That podcast was the best podcast we've ever done.
Yeah, certainly.
It was meandering. It didn't cover any topics thoroughly.
But it had that great Bludder bit.
Yeah, it did. Yeah,
about a dating app for vampires.
Are you telling us that Bludder's not golden?
Telling that's not a grade A bit.
Yeah, that shit rocks.
I'm sorry. Yeah, you're right, guys. Actually,
yeah,
it's those little things that the AI can get to.
We need writers. Learn to code.
learn to code.
There is something very funny about like I guess like the karmic justice of like the AI thing being like taking over initially. They're like, okay, it's going to be like automating factory jobs. And everyone's like, well, that's good that it's automating factory jobs because those jobs are terrible.
Jobs, no one wants to do those jobs.
Yeah. And then
people just have to do
those jobs are not fun for anybody.
But it's also like, well, what is that guy who's been working at a factory going to do?
But how's that guy feeling who like loves working a factory?
Some people do.
Right?
Some people that's like,
people do run the robot.
Like every job in the world, there's at least one person who's like, you know what? I'm kind of into this.
Yeah. No, well, I think
take satisfaction in this.
I think there's a type of guy who likes coming home from a day of manual labor and like sitting down on the couch and popping a beer and beating his wife, and he's just like, that's the life.
That's the way.
I'm not gonna sell out everyone who works in a factory like that. Yeah, all those guys.
I'm saying
everyone like that shit's him or wife.
I'm saying that's an archetype.
That's definitely
things could change.
There is definitely someone like that.
Yeah, there's some guy out there who does that, and his thing gets replaced by a robot, and then people are like, well, you know,
then he has to step it up and kill his wife.
Yeah, that's is that the next?
That's true. That's what
he's lost his job to a robot, so now he's got nothing else to do but sit around the house and drink his life away, and then escalate into
and play chess against himself like Andrew Tate's father.
You know, that's how we get the greatest thinkers of our generation is dads who are unemployed and drink.
Yeah. That's the greatest. That's what all philosophers were. Is just guys who were like unemployed and drank too much.
Kind of.
And
a little bit.
A lot.
You're only allowed to be a philosopher if
you learn. A lot of these guys, when you learn about their personal life, you're like, okay, maybe several grains of salt on what you're saying.
Yeah, there's
Voltaire, very renowned pedophile.
The whole Jordan Peterson get your house in order. I don't necessarily always believe, but like I'm only like whatever. If someone's trying to be like, hey, my life sucks in these ways, don't do this because I did that and that kind of made my life suck. Like I'm like, oh, that's like good advice and you should take that advice.
Yeah, that's
Whereas,
not
like,
philosophy though.
Yeah, the philosophy is always like my life. Like I'm so ascended that I have the ability to like ponder on the human condition. And I'm like, you don't bathe. Like, you should not be like
you
giving
eat
insights.
Raw meat and benzos for your daily fucking nutrition.
Yeah, that's how I always feel about philosophers who are like, yeah, my life is terrible, and like I live in like constant agony because I can't pull anything together.
Well,
but
that's how he's reached an upper state of consciousness. You know, that's how he's able
just
to unlock
benzo.
those thoughts inside his brain.
Yeah.
And you can't do that because you have a stable job and healthy eating habits. So
that's true. I
don't know where your criticism is coming from because you've never experienced that.
That's true. I need to come to Benzo's man in order to really get perspective. I'm feeling a little bit down right now. I wonder what that could be. And they're like,
Benzocast?
Benzocast.
What the fuck do benzos even do to you?
We should.
I don't fucking know.
Yeah, we should do Whippet Cast where
it's just an opiate. Right?
We mainline Whippets the entire pod just for an hour straight. We just keep going at it. So the moment that they wear off, we're like round 2.
That sounds like it'd be a really good podcast.
I'd be constantly spraying it into the fucking mic.
By the end of it, we're just like mongoloids. Like, we can't form a sentence, and we're just like breathing into the mic. That'd be cool.
Well, then we'd be philosophers.
Yeah, then we'd officially raise to the rank of philosophers. Let's see. You know who else is kind of a philosopher?
Who?
Steven Crowder, I guess.
Okay.
There's more on him.
I suppose he is.
Yeah,
he has some interesting views on divorce.
Yeah, he's certainly a philosopher about divorce, but he was talking
a
like
philosopher of love. About
and his
what
philosophy
it
of
means to
love is that when your wife releases a ringed video that makes you look like an absolute fucking monster, you are then like, well, I'm gonna release all of your like medical history records have you heard about that?
Where I had not actually heard about. I was thinking of the other shit that he talked about recently.
He was talking about like how because his wife, he was like, I want to do this all under the table, but because my wife has like released this video and clearly is trying to like go underhanded, I'm going to unseal every court document, which includes like all of her like medical history for like psychiatric care and stuff, and like he's just like doxing her basically, where he's releasing like all of her addresses.
So she went to go get care.
That's what they've been together. They were together for a long ass time since they were young. If she has like a long history of psychiatric care, that was care she was getting while she was with him.
Yeah. But
so like, bro,
I just think it's also like it's
the gotcha you were hoping, man.
Yeah, it's a terrible gotcha because everyone's like, oh, you did this, probably in a large part. But it's also like the most scummy thing you can do to somebody is just like, oh, well, you showed me a video. You showed me a video of me being a monster.
Right.
I'm a public figure, but I'm going to turn you into a public figure by doxing the shit out of you and your medical history. And then it's all fair game.
and then we're even.
You can't say that wasn't tit for tat.
Yeah, you can't.
It's like what?
I fight back.
Well, I remember he talked about because there's a bunch of other like
I had to scream at her because she's crazy.
Don't you see?
She doesn't listen otherwise. She's like a dog.
Yeah, I can't debate someone that's this crazy.
A bunch of the people like that formerly worked for him were talking about like all the shit that he would do around the office, like just like flashing them and then like just like very verbally like berating them or threatening to like fire them. And then he came out and was like, yes, that did happen. It just admitted to all that, and everyone's like, why do people work for you?
My favorite thing that came out was like the comedian that was on his show who was like supposed to like kind of add levity to his bits. Yeah. He was like talking about how he had a rant button, so whenever Crowder wanted to be like, and no one can make jokes right now, he'd press the button and there would be a red light that would turn on in the background and he'd be like, I'm ranting right now, no one can make jokes, and then he'd turn it off.
Yeah.
But he also always had to be the guy who gets the last word. Like there were multiple times where like he'd say a joke and Crowder couldn't like come up with a follow-up, so they just cut that joke because like Crowder couldn't like tag onto it.
Dude, he's so bad at yes and every fucking time. The only time I've ever seen Amy Schumer be funny is in a fucking old Red Eye like episode on Fox that has her and Steven Crowder on it. And the whole time he's not even making any jokes. He's just talking about how good it is that he's in like he's going to like save himself for marriage and like you shouldn't have sex before marriage. And Amy Schumer's fucking dunking on him as hard as I've ever seen anybody get dunked on. And I'm like, why? How did you make Amy Schumer look funny on the comedy part of Fox News, where your only job is to make jokes here, and you're not even trying to do that. You're just trying to like cape for not having sex before marriage.
I mean, he's like not like a funny guy. He's just a dude who.
But he wasn't even trying to make jokes.
Yeah, and this is like the comedy section. It's just so funny to me that like it is like the philosopher thing where it's like I get if you were like, oh, my marriage is working great, and here's how I got my marriage to work great. I didn't have sex before marriage, and we're both like completely chaste. But instead, it's
my marriage mentally
is
healthy.
An absolute nightmare, and you should do what I did. And it's like, it sounds like it didn't work out for you. It sounds like you kind of fucked up.
Yeah. Well, lessons learned.
You know who else fucked up?
Who?
I don't know.
Oh,
you gotta pick something off that.
Oh, Imgur.
What they do?
Imgur, and I think like
Imgur
Ohio and Reddit. So the
hell's Ohio? It's a state.
Or it was something. It was like Georgia maybe, but they have like a ban.
The state.
Yeah, they have like a ban on like sexual content, or they made it so it's like you have to show your ID in order to get into any NSFW content.
Mm-hmm,
so because of that, okay. Imgur is scrubbing every single NSFW thing, which if you aren't aware, that's where all of the best dojins are posted. And so
that's true, yeah.
That is
and
true.
so there's a large I've been going through a large part of my catalog, my large Google Doc that had all those saved archiving them. But it's just sad because they're shutting it down I think like tomorrow. So that's gonna be a sad day for a lot of people. But Pornhub also had something
they're
where
getting rid of porn?
Nah.
Pornhub is like you can't access it from Georgia, right? It might not be Georgia, but it's like that you can't access it from that state anymore because
they're gonna have to like make like you have to have a webcam.
You have to have like a webcam, and then you have to send your like license, which is just like, oh yeah, no, they'll definitely like just having that, putting it all in like putting like every license into like Pornhub or like OnlyFans, like that's a good idea for security. Like that's a good.
What the fuck is the point of this?
The point of it is to like
just to make
it so it's like you have to be 18 in order to watch
look at porn. Well, yeah. That's so crazy and so insane.
But it's one of those. They had they just had like a porn actress, and she's just sitting there in like nice clothes, and she's like, "Let me tell you that this is only going to drive." And she's like, it's just like morally grandstanding, kind of being like, "Hey, this is why these laws are bad," but it's really funny because that's the only thing on Pornhub in that state, where it's like the only thing when you go to there is like this one like adult.
There's got to be a little teen boy who's like, I can beat off to this.
You know what? When desperation calls, I suppose that's what it's gonna be. But it's definitely like
good thing there's like thousands of porn sites.
Yeah, but a lot of them.
Well, it's gonna make that like illegal.
Well, it's like a lot of them are like
but it's fined
in some way.
The ones that
internet, bro.
Yeah,
like, there's gonna.
I think it's ridiculous to even try and.
There's gonna be porn sites just for Georgia that are constantly getting new URLs.
Where it's gonna be like Kiss Anime, where it's ru.com,
like Putlockers, you know, when you're looking to stream something. It's
but
like
the big thing is that like I think
you're gonna have to go through a few websites to find one that's not cancer to use, but
like having Pornhub, I think that like Pornhub tries to self-regulate in a lot of ways, where it's like it tries its best to make sure that
been
like
kind of forced to, considering they had a lot of child porn on there,
but
and a lot of revenge porn. Crack down on that.
Yeah, it's also something where it's like I think it's better to have it like centralized, so you can be like, hey, like here's where like the stuff is going to be, so let's try to like enforce that here, as opposed to like, yeah, you just can't be there anymore, so like it all just goes everywhere and it's impossible to like stop that from happening.
Yeah, like my thing is like, there's like a lot of fucked up stuff around porn, but there's gonna be porn, so like the fucked up parts you should address that, right?
Yeah,
like rather than trying to get rid of porn, like, you know, Pornhub, I think you're right in that, like, at least there, like, it's a big, like, mainline porn thing that, like, you can hold them accountable to some degree that, like, if there's a million, like, freeporn.tv 123s out there.
Oh yeah,
right?
that's
like,
gonna be flooded with fucking.
You're not gonna
like,
be able
shit.
to control that shit, you know. And the more if you shut down Pornhub in Georgia, that's where people are gonna go get their porn.
Yeah, and that's kind of the more fucked up thing. And then it also is really shitty for like sex workers who live there. I don't know. It's just it's a pretty messed up situation all around. But I don't know, whatever.
Yeah. As far as I know, like websites like OnlyFans and stuff don't require any kind of age I mean, I guess there's never been a website that requires like a real age verification.
You have
other
to
than,
do
like,
it if you're a
casino sites. I know probably require.
You have to do it if
real
you're a
age
talent.
verification.
You have to.
That makes sense as a talent.
It's still kind of fucked up because it's something where it's like guys or girls who are like, I don't want to like show my face on here. It's like, well, you have to give us your ID, and if we ever get hacked,
and here's all the porn you've ever looked up. You're going to jail.
That if like showing your ID to prove you're not underage to be in a porn is like something that is like, oh, I'm not comfortable doing that, then maybe you're just
that's right.
I think that's a good thing.
I think the biggest problem for me is more that it's like they're putting it on a database somewhere that can be accessed by people who are like less scrupulous.
Yeah, I mean, the issue is just general, like all companies, right? That like cybersecurity is like they don't take it seriously until some shit happens and they're forced to, you know?
Yeah.
The
issue is that
you're not going to pay. Yeah, you're not going to pay until something goes wrong.
You're not going to spend any money improving the security of that thing than you think you can like get away with.
Yeah,
you know?
And the real issue is that they're so obsessed with this 18 number.
Yeah, you want it to be
that is the big
a little higher.
Big problem.
That's the end of my comment.
That's kind of the obvious takeaway from all of this.
Well, I don't think you should be allowed to have sex with anyone until you're at least 35. But by then you're allowed to be the first virgin president of the United States. Just kidding. That was.
I would love to run. Someone runs on that.
Runs as the first virgin.
Where they're like, I've never had sex before in my fucking.
Well, actually, that was probably like some bitch like Millard Fillmore. Who the fuck was that president?
What about like a priest? He's like, I'm gonna run for office.
Yeah.
And it's like, I haven't had sex. That'd be our first virgin.
There would be a lot.
That would be the angle on it.
There would be,
like if it was just a regular guy, like business guy, or maybe like a lawyer guy who's now around trying to get into politics, right? You'd be like, loser, virgin loser.
Virgin loser.
I'm not voting for you. No one's voting for you. But a priest, you're like, well, yeah, you would be.
Yeah. Well, I was saying that it would almost be like checkmate, because there are a lot of people in like both the Republican and Democratic parties who are like virgin losers, and there's some base there that you want to capture. And so it's like, but if you bring that guy into the fold, then then it's like, well, why do you hate me?
Incel elected official is
well, it's like, and then that one guy's like, well, then why do you hate me? It's like, because you're a virgin loser. And then all of that base is like, I'm not voting for that guy.
Well, it's like how everyone was saying fuck Trump, and then all the people crawled out of the swamp. They're like, no, we say that shit too. Don't tell him to shut up.
Yeah, there's just like, this is uncivil. It's like, well, I'm uncivil all the time. So like,
well, I'm fine with that, yeah.
Oh, I haven't had sex either.
I haven't fucked at all. This guy is going to legislate for me.
Yeah, he's going to legislate
That's how Steven Crowder should pivot. He's like, the real reason I was angry at my wife is because we never had sex.
Yeah.
I'm a virgin. I'm a fucking virgin.
Those kids aren't mine.
I never even saw my
Those
wife's
kids aren't
penis.
mine.
Not once.
Those kids were immaculately concepted. They're not any. She did not cheat on me, but I did not have sex.
Those
with
are
her.
not my kids.
Do you remember when? Like I think it was like Gus Johnson, like his girlfriend was like having a really big surgery, and he just streamed himself opening Pokemon cards. I just imagine like Steven Crowder doing that for like the birth of his kids, because he's like and he's just he's streaming like Twitter segments, and like calling out Candace Owens.
Bro, I'm getting tired of all these like alt-right people showing up on YouTube shorts.
Yeah,
I see one, it's like a little animation. I'm like, that looks cool, and I watch it. And I swipe down, and all of a sudden it's like Ben Shapiro reacting to a TikTok where like that's just transphobic, right? And I'm like, why is this? Why am I?
The one that I saw that was like, what the fuck is even going? Like, it was like Ben Shapiro reacts to Family Guy, and it was a Family Guy clip that was like mildly transphobic.
Saw that one.
Yeah,
yeah.
And then he just
like
laughs.
A trans person, like a bartender asked a trans person to like.
Yeah, it's like you can't
turn
look
off
at
their,
porn.
Yeah,
in,
she was
in
looking
the
at porn at the bar,
and then she's
a
like,
thing that these trans people are doing.
What?
Like,
Yeah.
I'm
She's like-
trans. He's like, oh, then you're allowed to do whatever you want all the time, and that's the joke.
and that was it. And like he showed it,
What?
he
And
showed,
it's just Ben Shapiro going,
and then it repeats, and you're like, what was the point of that? Like, is this just like it's
Ben
like,
Shapiro
Dude.
is getting on the fucking Family Guy funny moments grind. It's
Every-
fucked up.
every
it's
content
just a
creator-
Family Guy clip. He doesn't.
Yeah.
Just laughs at the end. For
Every
a little bit.
YouTuber, every content creator is all just a reactor now. They just everyone
That is
a
like
reactor.
the heat death
Yeah.
of like YouTube culture.
It's
Is
just
Family Guy
reacting
funny
to
moments.
other-
That's what it all goes to.
I think
Yeah.
when I started seeing like multiple young Sheldon clips in my YouTube Shorts feed, I was like, this is it. This is the end of media. Like the end of media is we are just watching sitcoms and watching Subway Surfer right below it.
How many shows do you think people are like, I like this show, but they only watch like YouTube short clips of it
So
or
many people
YouTube clip?
now. Like people who are like
Because you do like the film summaries
Yeah.
that you watch,
and I'm like,
like-
that's a neat movie.
and
but
you're like, I like that movie. Then you'll talk to a motherfucker about that movie like you've seen it.
yeah,
Because
and
you're a sociopath.
Yeah,
and
that's
some people
insane.
don't know. You guys know because I've outed myself enough. But sometimes you'll talk to a
You've
person.
been talking to someone about video games that like I know for a fact you haven't played.
Oh,
and
yeah.
I've seen you talking to them, you're like, I really like this mechanic. And like you know what you're talking about. It's like a mechanic in the game that like people that play that game enjoy. He's like, yeah, man, it's really cool. And you're
Yeah.
like, but you haven't played the fucking game. You don't know if you like
I do like looking over at you whenever that happens, just to see like because I know you know that that is all a lie. But
You've like streamlined taking in content
media
to
Yeah.
a
consumption.
I think I was
degree that stresses
I am
you.
the
You're
pro-
not as bad about it now, but
Yeah,
high
no.
school.
I was the
Crazy.
prototypical like I think I was like the content like guzzler because I was literally I
Content
watched stuff on 2 times
consumer.
speed.
I mean, so was I in high school.
Yeah.
for sure.
Like I watch stuff on 2 times speed because I'm able to watch more things. I'm able to consume and then talk about more things with different people. And having an understanding of things is better is more important for me than having any sort of emotional connection to media.
That's fair.
There's
Well,
definitely like a FOMO. A FOMO is what got me really into seasonal anime. 'Cause,
Yeah.
like, you get into anime
Sure, yeah.
first. Like at first, it was like I remember like OG anime YouTubers where like they did just like
Yeah.
straightforward reviews.
They're like, we're gonna talk
They're
about
like,
Baccano.
this is the animation and like sometimes they do funny videos. So that's how I got into it. Like, oh, they like that. I'll watch that. And then they started doing like seasonal coverage. Like,
Season-
here's
Yeah.
the shows this
Shit,
season.
yeah,
I think
demo
And I'm like,
Ds.
Demo,
Oh, I
think,
gotta watch them.
legitimately ruined all of anime YouTube by just having those seasonal summaries. And then, like, I think he might have been like the
I don't
first.
think it was his fault.
Well, he was like the first pioneer to do that. And then, like, early on, he was like, this sucks. Like, I feel like I'm just not getting
I
anything
think
out
it's
of
more
this.
symptomatic of just like what anime culture is like here.
Yeah.
People
Yeah.
base it around seasons. I think they do it less now. Now that like shit comes on streaming, I feel
Yeah.
like people now just more so watch it that
I-
they want to watch.
I
but-
think it's also like the
There's
weekly
definitely
discussion
trash that-
is important because it's like a lot of people.
I think it's important for like the health of a fan base and like talking about the show, but I don't think it's like I don't think it's indicative of anime,
Yeah.
particularly because other shows do the same thing.
anime is so much more. I see like the whole like the seasonal format is like way more
It's way
organized
structured,
than like
yeah.
other TV is put out. So like just that people are like, all right, I'm gonna watch these shows this season, right?
Yeah.
Like I remember when a new anime season was coming, I'd be like, all right, what's good?
Time to check Annie chart.
Well, I'd base it off the week, right? Like these shows
Yeah.
come out Wednesday. What is the best Wednesday show? And that will be my Wednesday show. And then
Yeah.
there's every day of the week.
They're like, Saturday's got 3 shows.
And now I look back, I'm like, how the fuck did I do that?
Yeah.
I can't schedule.
barely
my
get
fucking-
myself to sit through an episode of
appointments.
shit that I like now.
Yeah, I can barely get myself to like sit down and be like, I'm gonna watch a show that's like critically acclaimed and everyone loves, and I'm like, or-
my brain does a little rotation where I'm like, right now I'm in my TV show rotation, and then like that'll probably move on to like back to manga or some shit, and
Yeah.
then
The
from there to like video
dopamine
games.
carousel.
yeah,
Yeah,
because eventually you
going
get
around.
like numb to it, and you're like, okay,
Well, not numb, but I'm just like I don't feel like
You
playing
get
a video game.
Bored
Yeah.
of it or burnt out. Like
Yeah.
what games I get burnt out on them if I like get really into them at the start and then game hard, game harder than anyone.
It's hard because we are the hardest.
We are the hardest gamers.
We gamed real hard on Minecraft, and now I'm like, okay, I don't want to play a video game.
I don't want to play video games anymore.
But no, I've been watching. Speaking of content, I've been watching the Mandalorian shit and like the Book of Boba Fett. Dude, it's like some of the best Star Wars I've ever seen, and definitely some of the worst Star Wars I've ever seen.
The book of Boba Fett is like dog shit, though.
I've only just started. I'm like 3 episodes in. It's like okay.
It's like
it's not awesome. There's some really awful action sequences.
Well, it's just like lame. Like I watched I think like the first couple episodes with Wyatt, and it's like Boba Fett just like an old man.
I don't
who's
know
like
why
bloated,
Boba Fett is doing what he's doing.
and he's just like, I'm gonna become like a daimyo.
Yeah,
I'm
the characterization of it is very strange because Boba Fett just all of a sudden is like, okay, I'm retired and I'm gonna rule Tatooine.
But he's gonna rule it like nice. He's gonna rule.
But
it
I'm
like,
gonna be a nice. Yeah, I'm
and then it's
what?
like, what does this have to do with like the thing that people
This
like?
is not what I wanted from Boba Fett, but
and like,
I'll see where it goes.
It's like the Tusken Raiders pulled him out, and then he bonded with him, and then he danced with him, and then he's like, but I'm a good guy now. And I'm like, why did you make a Boba Fett TV show if you were just gonna have him be like this old guy who can barely do shit? And then like,
that's what fucking Star Wars loves doing with their most beloved characters. They're gonna do a Darth Vader show. It's gonna be about how he survived when he died at the end. He's living a peaceful hermit life.
And then he goes to the Ewoks and he's like, "You guys are all right.
you guys are so bad."
He talks with the fucking Native American accent. Some of you guys are okay.
Don't go.
You guys are some of the good ones.
Don't go to Endor tomorrow.
He leaves and he's back on.
There's like a lot of the fucking. I clapped because I recognized it shit in Mandalorian with fucking. I mean, Ahsoka Tano, like her episodes are like cool or whatever because she's not like the original Star Wars stuff, so it's like whatever, you can include her. But then they bring in like the CGI like face like swap
Mark
Luke.
Hamill.
Yeah, the Mark Hamill at the end of the second season. And it looks fucking horrific.
Have
it's
you seen
scary.
the actor that plays that Mark Hamill?
Yeah.
He looks one for one.
He looks like
young
the guy.
Mark
and
Hamill.
Then for some reason they fucking like squeeze Mark Hamill's face onto his face.
Well, it's like he looks exactly like it, but they make him put him all the dots, and then they're like, and now we need to make you look like a creepy like monster man.
I don't know why. There were so many better ways to do it than to like put like this jib jab of Mark Hamill's face. Because they could have just like done like maybe some more makeup on him or like did it like a touch up on his face in post, but
maybe he wears a mask and he's like, I have a cold. Maybe that's
Luke's face
the whole season. Every time he's at the show, he's like gone for a minute. And he comes back. He's like, yeah, I got better, but then I got sick again.
And then honestly,
they're always explaining why he's so sick all the time.
A whole nother
that would be
because they want you to understand.
A whole different angle they could have taken. Was like setting it later and just having Mark Hamill play.
Why did they do that?
They turned it like this. The guy on the left is like the original, and then the guy on the right is like their weird like Cronenberg creation where when it moves around, you're like,
I mean, it looks all right still. I'd have to see it in motion.
Oh yeah, but like it looks flat.
But like the one on the left looks like it would be fine.
Yeah, for sure.
For like, oh, this is supposed to be Luke. It's like that would be pretty fucking obvious.
Oh yeah,
if they put that out with the actor, people would be like, did they deep fake it? Because he looks a lot like.
Yeah.
My suspension of disbelief would have been like held perfectly if they just kept the original guy in there, but no. It's ruined because little baby Grogu is looking up at a fucking like flat-faced monstrosity of Mark Hamill.
What it was is like they got him and they shot it and they're like, but it's Luke coming back. It's gotta look just like him. It's gotta look just like how he did in those movies.
But they know it looks bad because they only have him in there for like 3 shots of like his face saying something. And the worst one is when they have the face nod and it like the you can see his face like slide down a bit and then bounce back
it's
up.
Like tracking wrong. It
looks so fucking stupid, and I don't know why they did that or what the fucking possible reason could be. But anyways, that's what a lot of that Star Wars shit is now. Is just I recognized the thing.
I clapped when I saw it.
Because I saw Luke.
Yeah. You know what I clapped when I saw it?
But everything with Grogu and Din Djarin is pretty cool, actually.
What else did
Grogu.
you segue into?
I was just saying that, like, what's it called? Have you heard about the violent video game tirade that Matt Walsh is going on?
No.
After the whole trans thing, he's like, and you guys are with me with anti-violent video games, and everyone's like,
What?
Is those so now we're just, I think everyone's discovering what everyone else knew, that is Matt Walsh is just like a loser Christian who wants to take away all the...
He is a fascist. He's a self-described fascist.
How are guys like Matt Walsh and Stephen Cryer they're like very online people who have like a very like online fan base, but then they're like very straight-laced Christians?
Yeah.
It's like, what dopamine addicted loser on the internet is that appealing to?
Yeah. It is like a very weird thing where it's like, then they'll be like, and no one should like, he was talking about how it's like anime and video games are like the downfall of society and we should ban them.
It's a guy who doesn't want responsibility for his actions through God, and then also everyone else is wrong through God.
Yeah, it's like I'm staying away from these things because I'm staying away because I desperately want to get fucked in the ass, and I'm staying away from that, so you can at least stay away from your anime and video games.
Is that Matt Walsh's thing? He wants to get fucked in the ass, but he holds back?
Yeah, it is.
He's gay.
He's constantly, that's what he's doing. Every one of his streams, he like suspends himself in the sitting pose right above like a little dick.
Ooh, the little lotus.
And he really wants to just sit down. He's like, no, but God's telling me I shouldn't.
That's what he's doing behind his desk. His desk is actually really short and he's squatting.
Yeah, that's why he's so grumpy all the time.
That's what you get when you pay for his Patreon. Is you get the back camera of his asshole lowering to the dildo.
About to go in. He's like, he's gonna do it, and then he stands back up. He's like, no.
Yeah, I'm a big Matt Walsh fan. I'm subscribed to his Patreon and his OnlyFans.
I can't put this on Patreon. It's too NSFW. But it's not sexual. It's not supposed to be it's supposed to show my Christian strength.
It's not sexual.
It
shows that I can watch it and that it doesn't tempt me.
Yeah, if you find this sexual in any way, that's your problem.
Good Christians, they watch gay porn just to
shake their head,
steal their faith.
Disapprovingly. You're like, I don't like this at all.
Yeah, it's like branding yourself like a monk or some shit, or like walking through coals. You have to look at gay porn.
You have to look at gay porn to prove to God that it won't make you horny.
It doesn't.
Well, I can't remember the last time there was any...
It doesn't. I told you this before. It does not.
I can't remember the last time there was any controversy about a violent video game. Like, there's not been any video games like releasing with like the same level of like mass shooting as like Modern Warfare 2.
Well, it's also like,
yeah, bro, they were fucking wild for that,
dude. That shit was
like
crazy.
That was controversial, and everyone was like, "It's just a game."
It's like
that's really insensitive. That's really shitty that they did that.
That's kind of fucking crazy that
in the
they
video
allowed.
Game.
And I do think it's more like,
and that everyone kind of was just like, "Well, this is fucked up, but we'll accept it."
But since then,
we'll have a little warning in the campaign when you
a warning. Yeah,
I think
you had an option to skip it or something.
I think
you had an option to not play the level.
The no Russian was kind of emblematic of like being an early kind of like shock. It was like, ooh, we're like a video game, so it's like what would like sell? It's like
it was
shit tons
to get
of content.
sales,
yeah. But then like,
but I think that's shitty to do that.
But like
sales.
now video games are like, okay, we're trying to be taken seriously. We're trying to tell like stories that will truly like. There's enough of those that like the shock jock stuff is almost entirely put to like one guy on Unity is like, you get to rape in my video game. It's like, okay, it's like big studios are making games
like that come out once in a while where they're like, we're tired of all the wokeness. We're making an edgy game.
But that's like,
it's just guy. You're a guy in a trench coat who does a serial killing. They're like, there's been a lot of games like that.
Postal.
Yeah,
4.
and then everyone just like rolls their eyes.
Other ones came out and everyone's like, okay, some people talk about it, but at this point people are like, that's not fun. I don't want to play that.
And then, but my point is that like every video game that's coming out now is at least like trying to be like, it's trying to be engaging and not like kind of a shock jock way in most.
No, because it doesn't sell.
But then Matt Walsh comes in, he's like, all they're trying to do is be violent and corrupt our kids. It's like, well, then you
what
don't
a
have
time to bring that discourse
up, right? It's like, what the fuck are you like? So like obviously is like transphobic
Like,
comments. There's
biggest games in the world are like Fortnite, which is like cartoon game where people like dance after you explode into
and like
Minecraft, you know,
which is building and like survive.
Although Roblox, they just put out like that item store where people can make custom items, and they have like a filter so you can't put the N-word on it, right?
Yeah.
But people have made character skins where on the arms you have a big N and A.
That's awesome.
And then a shirt that's like the Nation shirt, and it just says IGG on it.
Oh my god.
That's. I mean, you know what? Constrictions breed creativity.
It's like you just can't give that much freedom in a platform where children are. It's like, go back to Call of Duty, like those old emblem makers.
Oh god.
Oh my god.
Well, it's because
some of the shit you saw in there when I was like a teenage boy, like not good to see as a teenage boy. You know?
I do love the idea of like some other
funny.
teenage boy in the living room making those emblems and like tirelessly like putting.
Well, yeah. Then I had friends who are like, "Oh, that's fucking awesome! I want to make some shit like that."
Mine.
And it takes them like a couple hours.
There's a lot of this. I'm mostly talking about the racist shit when I'm talking about the fucking shit. But you definitely, it was funny seeing all people just make like a spread pussy.
Yeah. Some people got real detailed.
Some people are like, I want to make
the most
like a fucking
spread.
hot lady who's naked spraying her pussy, and you're like, you did a pretty good job on that. For the tools you had, you did pretty good.
It really brings out the true artists of our.
And then you could put it on your
world.
gun, and then while you're quick scoping
They'd
people,
have to see a spread pussy.
you can see the spread pussy in the kill cam.
That would be cool. And then
It was cool.
And then
you're
It
like,
happened, and it was cool.
and it makes it a little bit bad that
And,
you got sniped.
God,
Matt
I'm
Walsh is
glad
trying to
my
take this
childhood was this picture of a spread pussy emblem in Black Ops,
And not the
this.
N-word in Roblox.
Someone,
Yeah.
N-word in Roblox.
Yeah.
This episode's really just going to be called like the N-word in Roblox (parentheses real).
It's just
don't
it's just
spoil
a
that.
tradition in online gaming as a child being given too much access to the internet at a young age, you know?
Well, that's just
It's a rite of passage to be blasted with unexpected pornography and racism.
Yeah. And then they learn, they're like, oh, this is kind of like I'm doing this to be.
And you hope that doesn't make them a racist. You just cross your fingers and you hope they don't come out of it like that. But
I'd argue that a lot of times they get it out of their system.
you hope that's not a formative thing for them at that age.
Because like the most people that I see who are like the people who are decrying violent video games are the people who are oftentimes it's like, oh, you're like bad. Or
Yeah, that is
you're
the people
really
complaining
racist.
about it are like, it's like, if you were saying like, oh, it's messed up that there's the N-word in Roblox now, I'd be like, that's a good point, Matt Walsh. But you're just like yourself a fascist and like complaining about like the games that aren't even really a problem, like as a moral decay thing.
It's degenerate. It's degenerate.
You're complaining about them
exactly.
because like God wouldn't like it.
Yeah.
As if God's gonna be like, yeah, that's it. The entire all my plans are thwarted by the fact that some kid can do the N-word in Roblox.
No N-words in Roblox.
No.
God's decree.
That was
Yeah,
the 11th.
why is that never their take? Like, hey, God says you guys should stop saying that.
No, God never cares about
Like
anything
all these
like
God
that.
people, they're never like, guys, come on, you know God.
You know God
like
would.
that.
The 11th commandment was like, and no N-words in Roblox, but Moses was
That's
like,
never,
I don't know what
that's
the fuck
never
that
a
means.
big problem to them, is it?
No. Love thy neighbor. That shit's for pussies. Kill yourself. and make sure your child is saying the N-word on
All right.
Roblox.
I gotta dip out this early. Get
Okay,
dressed for
have
something.
All right.
We will
Baby
catch you
Billy.
later. Yeah, we got about 7 minutes left for a Jack and Jackson. So,
All right, perfect. What do we got on the docket here?
should we talk about the Mo and Curly's bar situation?
Wow, do we really want to?
Well, I'll talk. Yeah, that's probably true. You know what we should talk about instead is Bill Gates' daughter bought a $76 million NYC penthouse.
Yeah.
And I'm thinking that we should try to date Bill Gates'
Try to fuck
daughter.
her.
Yeah, so we could.
Well, you can go for that. I've got a girlfriend, and she is. I
Yeah,
don't know. She's like all right looking.
I thought you were talking about your girlfriend. No, the Bill Gates daughter. She's nice. She looks like she looks like she has a girly podcast. If that
is that her boyfriend there, Mr. Nael Nassar?
Yeah, we can get him out of the picture.
That is it in this brick building here? This looks like shit.
I mean, New York apartments always like the thing is that New York apartments are so fucking expensive, but they always like when you zoom out, like if you were to be like, this is exactly what I want, like it's like they always look like garbage. Inside they look okay, but like the actual buildings that they're located in look terrible.
Fucking trash. Dude, if I was gonna live in New York as like a millionaire, billionaire, or whatever, I'm getting one of those ones that's on the edge of fucking Central Park that like costs like
a gajillion dollars. Yeah.
And it's small, but it's up in a big fucking building.
Yeah.
And I get to be up in a big building and
you get to see Central Park. Yeah. I mean, that would be cool. But
I'm getting one of those.
Like those penthouses are dope, but it's also like, I think they're like so prohibitively expensive that it's like at a certain point, it's like, well, I could do. Also, if you have that much money, you probably have a lot of stuff that you want in your place, right?
Yeah.
Like you probably don't want to just let it like, just like, you're probably like not like living like a very like calm life. You probably want to like have a bunch of shit in there. And if you're getting one of those really small places, you have to make like determinations on like what goes and what stays.
Well, that's okay because I'm a very frugal billionaire and a very ascetic. So I don't have a lot of things with me. I just kind of
most people
put up like a few posters on the wall, and I
you've got a few anime posters.
I asked the landlords at the penthouse if I can like nail something.
Yeah, rate your cribs, and you have like a wall scroll, like one of those like Naruto wall scrolls that's like clearly like off market because they just like stretched like a photo and it's all blurry.
I'm like, is it okay if I put this up in my apartment?
I love like MTV Cribs where it's like, this is the most expensive apartment in New York, and they go in, there's just like like they've got like the lawn chair.
They have the lawn chair set up, the fucking mattress on the floor.
Yeah, they just.
He's like, I paid everything to get in here, and I have nothing left. So
lawn chair
don't
set up
me.
with your computer, like your computer sitting where the TV should be, like a laptop. It's just like. Like pretty cool, right?
It's a sweet pad, I know.
Knock off Hatsune Miku wall scrolls. That's the dream.
Well, I'm gonna live my life like the kid from Blank Check and just have a bunch of bitches over and generally just spend all this fake money that I have until they realize I'm not actually a millionaire.
Oh yeah, I think when you can spend like that, it doesn't really matter whether or not you're a millionaire or not. That's why, like, they don't need to ask how much money you make if you can give them like a Prada bag. Because they're like, it doesn't matter how much money you make. You're giving this much to me. And so it's, I think you'd be good.
I'm going to invite the new king and queen over to my bachelor pad.
It would be so funny if you're having like royalty or like really important people and you're like moving aside pizza boxes. You're like
yeah, it's a bit of a mess in
You're like,
here.
did you know they charge to take out recycling here? It's fucking crazy.
Damn, that would be fucking crazy.
You're like,
Dude, that would actually
they do that in a lot
mad.
of places in New York where it's like putting out recycling.
But I'm paying like $1 million a month in rent.
Yeah, but they still like they assume you can probably, if you're paying $1 million a month in rent, you can probably.
That should be included.
No, I think you're just throwing pizza boxes out the window.
I know, I'm like, dropping them into Central Park. They go flying across because you're so aerodynamic.
Like they'll land. They won't hurt anybody. Like they'll land
They're
fine.
not gonna kill nobody. It's just gonna.
You're just like.
Are you allowed to open those windows? I doubt it.
I mean, like you said, it's $1 million. You bet your ass I'm opening those windows.
They don't. They probably don't open.
I'm breaking the.
I'm cutting the hole.
You break the window open so you can throw pizza boxes out of them.
It's either this or you just take them for free. So
yeah, what's it gonna be? That's my ultimatum. And you're sitting on your fucking lawn chair that's sitting in your penthouse.
I'm ordering another pizza.
No.
Don't do it.
Don't do it. They have to walk up all these stairs. And then you don't tip them.
Don't use the elevator.
Yeah, let them use the elevator.
So yeah, the new king and queen, they got coronated yesterday or the day before or whatever. I don't know. I
saw that. It was like there was the one thing that was like Prince Harry, because he moved to America, had to come in a suit, but that one, the Prince Andrew, who's like the rapist man.
Yeah, well, they're all rapists and pedophiles. So.
Yeah, but like he's like super. He's super.
He's the one who can't sweat.
Yeah, and so he was like dressed in like.
So he says.
The one picture was like Prince Harry, because he moved to America, has to wear a suit, but this guy who like is on record for going into Jeffrey Epstein's island like every other day is like wearing like the royal guard stuff that's like. You are like the emblems of honor and stuff, and it's like, but you moved to America, so you can't wear that, but he can.
Damn, that's fucked up, man. What the hell?
It's got loyalty to the family.
If I was in a big family full of rapists and pedophiles, I think I would kind of let one of them wear the fun fancy outfit.
Yeah, but I'd give them a special medal that would represent the pedophile one. They're like,
I'd give them a big
mean?
pizza box emblem.
He'd have to wear the Pizza Express logo on his back, like a jacket,
like a scarlet letter
jacket. That would be cool.
A Letterman jacket.
Letterman jacket that says Pizza Express.
Well,
what are you gonna do? Fire me? No.
If you're a very wealthy pedophile, you all have to stick together. It's all a big club. You all know each other.
That is true. Yeah, there's probably a large amount of people who are like ride or die.
I mean, Ghislaine, as far as I know, she's not dead yet, but she will be. She will.
We have anything to say about it?
No, her ass I know is like in like some fucking Georgia cushy ass prison for women.
I know that Ghislaine also has like connects that are beyond Jeffrey Epstein, so I think that it's probably the case that she's like good on that she's like
she's not gonna get assassinated.
Yeah, she's not gonna get assassinated.
You think?
She'll probably keep her mouth shut. I think Jeffrey Epstein just knew way too much. Speaking of people knowing way too much, I don't really have a good segue. All I know is the IRS is hiring special agents prepared to use deadly force if they need to pay up to $95,000. So,
well, I know where I'm gonna go work.
Well, all I know is that, like, in conjunction with the fact that they're now taxing tips, this is the small business this is the small business squad now, because they're just gonna be going around to small businesses who made like. I think it's probably like if you made over $300,000 in tips, they're going to send a guy with a gun to be like, where's our fucking money? And that's going to be the IRS.
Well, yeah, I mean...
Okay, I don't got to go quite yet. I don't got to go quite yet, but I got to complain about something real quick.
What's that?
Okay.
I was just grabbing my sunglasses out of my car, and there was two old ladies going on their home who had a nicely mowed lawn.
Yeah.
And they yelled at me and they went, "Our lawn looks nice, doesn't it?" As I was going inside. Because our lawn does not look very nice.
I mean, like, let's be real.
Ooh.
Although there was another old lady next door, so it could have been that they're talking to each other and I'm just getting self-conscious about it. Okay. But I'm going to choose to take that as disrespect.
No, she definitely was calling you guys.
Yeah, I think that's what's going on for sure.
What the fuck?
All right, now I gotta go.
All right, see ya.
See ya.
Fuck old ladies.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I think we're good. Thank you though. I appreciate
it.
Good to see.
Oh, I guess you already saw it.
Oh yeah.
All right.
Yeah, something like that.
Bye.
I didn't know that was an option for us to go.
I didn't know either, but I guess we're not doing that.
Yeah, I guess not.
I guess we're gonna go get dinner. All right.
Yeah. Either way.
See you later. Fuckos.
Yeah. Yeah. And
quit
also
your day job.
email us at brownbrickspodcast@gmail.com on top of not quitting your day job.
Or do that. I might do that.
Yeah. Fuck it. Why not? When in Rome. Bye bye, Johnny.